Well, the French assault on Mali may be working as we are seeing cracks tonight in the rebel alliance.
A portion of Mali's Ansar Dine rebel group has broken away to form its own movement and is expressing a willingness to seek a negotiated solution to the country's crisis. In a statement issued Thursday, the newly formed Islamic movement for Azawad also said it is ready to fight extremism. Islamist fighters began pushing south into government-controlled areas, prompting airstrikes from French forces acting at the request of Mali's government. French and Malian troops have retaken some rebel-held areas, while a growing African intervention force continues to arrive in Mali to help fully regain control of the north. Ansar Dine rebels is joined with ethnic Tuaregs to seize control of northern Mali following a March coup. Ansar Dine and other Islamist groups then took full control of the region. The group is seeking to impose strict Islamic law. In late December, Ansar Dine agreed to a ceasefire with the government, but suspended it early this month, saying the government was not sincere about peace negotiations.
Now, word of the dissension within rebel ranks came as the government was confronting its own troubles. The most vocal allegations yet that its army is responsible for human rights abuses along the battle zones. And joining me now to talk about these new developments is Nicolas Pinault, a reporter with VOA's French to Africa service. Thank you so much for being here today,
Hi.
Nicolas. So first of all, if we can go to these allegations of the Malian army that they're executing people.
Well, we have our reporter there, Idris Fall, who I just talked to this morning, and he was able to talk to some people there, and he can confirm that there was some abuses by the Malian army. We have always to be cautious in this kind of situation, as you know, but it is true that you have some maybe anger against the people they call white skin, majority of Tuaregs people in Mali, and some people allegedly they collaborate with the Tuaregs and the Islamists, and that's why some are targeted, and you have some abuses by the Malian army.
It's giving the government something else to worry about.
Yeah.
Now, let's move on to this issue of the split now within this rebel group. What do you know about the reasons for the split? And from what I understand, it was just a question of time before it happened.
Exactly. So we got an interview this morning with the spokesperson of this new group, Islamist Movement for Azawad, and Mohamed Ag Aharib explained that it's been a while since there was some tensions inside the group because some of them, the moderates, they can no longer sustain the radicalism of the leader, Iyad Aghali. So the attack in the government control area, that was the reason mainly for the split up. And because of radicalism and their moderates, they don't want to be with him anymore, and they say it's like a divorce between them.
Now, what does this mean in terms of where this rebellion advancement is going? That mean they've split literally in terms of one is now seeking a completely different issue. This issue may be reviving the subject of an autonomous state, the Azawad, and then meantime the other groups are still wanting to topple the government?
So we have to see in the coming days the situation might evolve on the ground, but what you could have is this new movement could maybe ally with the MNLA, which is the original Tuareg movement. We would like to have autonomy in the country, in this part of the northern Mali, and you can have an alliance between them. On the other side, maybe the more radical people in Ansardin, they might join Hakim and Mujao, the other two groups who actually fight in Mali, and maybe you can have more radicalism among these Ansardin people.
So where does this leave the government?
Yeah, you're right. That's the good question because we talk a lot about it. I think it might be an opportunity for them to have more people who would like to come and talk to the table. As you mentioned earlier, there was a ceasefire in December, and you have to understand that this new group were the ones signed the peace talk and the ceasefire in Ouagadougou. The new leader, Al-Gabas Yanintala, and the spokesperson, Mohamed Agharib, were the ones signed for Iyad. So it might be a chance for peace in northern Mali. But we have to be very, very cautious because both of them, they're from Kidal in Mali. And it might be, some people say it might be a strategy to avoid airstrikes in Kidal.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Welcome.
That's Nicolas Pinault of VOA's French to Africa service. Please, meantime, stay with InFocus for continuing coverage of the conflict in Mali.